coordinate plane lesson in case you missed it and you were absent. So I'm going to get right to it because a lot of this stuff was the beginning of the class, but I think it's easier if I just showed you. So what I'd like you to do is plot these 3 points over on your coordinate plane. So point A is 2 over, 3 up. Point B is 4 and 4. And point C is 5 and 2. 5 over, 2 up. Connect the dots so you get a triangle here. You're going to reflect this triangle over the x-axis. Here's your x-axis and the y-axis. So this triangle is going to go reflect. Think of it as a mirror. So your mirror is your x-axis. So where would this triangle be on this side of the mirror, right? So the distance of every single point of this triangle is exactly the same distance on the other side of the x-axis. So point A, and you can count 1, 2, 3. Point A would be 1, 2, 3. Here's where the location of point A would be on the other side of the x-axis if you think of it as a mirror. B, 4 and 4, so it's how far away is it from the x-axis? 1, 2, 3, 4. And B should be also 1, 2, 3, 4 steps away from the x-axis on the other side. Point C is the same thing, 2 and 5, or 2 units away, and point C would be here. So if you reflect this triangle, the original triangle ABC, over the x-axis, you will get this new triangle reflected just on the other side. But we can't call it A. We're going to call it, the name is actually prime, so we're going to call this A prime, B prime, C prime. So there's a little apostrophe there. So A prime, B prime, C prime. Sorry, my handwriting is a little. So A prime, new coordinate of A prime would be 2 over and 3 down. 2 over and 3 down. Point B is going to be 4 over and 4 down, which makes it negative. And point C is going to be 5 over, right? 5 over and 2 down. Negative 2 down. So that would be the new coordinates of my new triangle, A prime, B prime, C prime. Okay, very simple, right? I mean, no tricks to this. It's just gotta make sure that you reflect it over the correct axis. So in this case, we're reflecting this triangle, the original triangle, over the x-axis. So this has to jump over the x-axis. Let's do the second one. R equals negative 2 and 1. Negative 2 and 1. You should change colors. S is negative 5 and 2. Negative 5 and negative 2, sorry. And T is negative 4 and 4. Let's connect this dot. I think it's easier if you connect it. So we're going to reflect it over the axis. And again, label X, Y. So this is going to go, this triangle is going from here to here, right? And when you reflect it, all these 3 points, RST, should be same distance to the x-axis, but just on the other side. So point T is 1, 2, 3, 4 units away, and it should be 4 units away here from the x-axis. I'm going to y-axis. So let me go back. X-axis, we're going to go from here up here. Okay, I'm going to jump the horizontal line, x-axis. So let's start with S. S is 1, 2 units. Oops. Okay, 1, 2 units away. So S is going to be 1, 2 units away, just on the other side. We'll call that S prime. R is also 1, 2 units away, so it's going to land over here. And point T is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, but just here. Okay, so notice that same triangle, but just flipped on the other side, and every point is equally distant to the x-axis. So R prime, S prime, T prime. Don't forget the apostrophe. You do lose a point if you don't write that. R prime is going to be 2 to the left and 2 up. And okay, so I'm going to have to do this whole thing. Well, you know what? Let's make this negative 2. Make my life easier. So R prime is going to be negative 2 and 2 up. S prime is going to be negative 5, right, to the left, and then 2 up. And point T is going to be negative 4, just to the left, and 4 up. Notice that the coordinates are the same, except that now, because it's on quadrant 2, it assumes the characteristics of quadrant 2. In quadrant 2, every first point, the x-coordinate is negative, and the y-coordinate is positive. Okay. Finally, let's do one over the y-axis. So here's my y-axis. Here's my x-axis. Point K is negative 2 and 1. Point L is negative 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3, negative 3 and 4. Point L. Point M is negative 4 and 2. Negative 4 and 2. Oh, and point N is negative 5 and 5 right here. So for this one, I actually made a mistake here. So if you connect it and don't connect it, I should have been KLMN, but I did it wrong. So you still get a quadrilateral. So sorry about that. It's out of order. Here's my quadrilateral, right? And I'm going to reflect this over the y-axis. So we're going to go from here. I'm going to jump over and land here. We're going to go from left over the y-axis. So the new quadrilateral is going to be on this side. So take it point by point. Point K is 2 units away. Point K prime should also be 2 units away. Point M is 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's going to be also 4 units away on the other side of the y. Point L is 1, 2, 3, so it's going to be 1, 2, 3. And point N is all the way in the corner, 5 and 5 is going to be here as well. So L prime, N prime, connect. So notice that it's the same quadrilateral, but just flipped over to the other side. Okay, and let's find out where they are. K prime, I'm going to do this. L, 3 and 4. Notice that my coordinates, the numbers don't change, but what changes is the characteristics of them. So it went from quadrant 2, every point was in quadrant 2, now every point is in quadrant 1, and in quadrant 1 every number is positive. So there you go, 2, 1, 3, 4, 4, 2, 5, 5. Okay, so the numbers didn't change, but its characteristics did. Okay. 0, 4 is here. And that's point B. Point F is negative 4 and 2. Negative 4, negative 2. Point G is negative 2, negative 3. So let's connect this. You get a triangle. Like that, and we're going to flip this over the y-axis. So again, we're going to go from this side here, from the left, we're going to go to the right. Change colors here for you. So E will stay right there, right? If you flipped it over, here's E prime. F prime is going to be on this side. How many units away? 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's my F prime. My G prime is going to be 2 units away. 1, 2, and it's going to be right here. Let's connect the dots. Notice the same. Oops, sorry, I can't make a straight line. It's very hard to make a straight line on my tablet. Here's my triangle. It's the same triangle, but just flipped over the other side. So E prime, that one stays the same, 0, 4. F prime, it's going to go from negative 4, 2 to 4, negative 2. G prime went from negative 2 and 3, so it's going to go from, it's going to go to 2, negative 3, okay? In quadrant 4, my x-coordinate is positive, and the second one is negative, okay? Positive, negative, because it's in quadrant 4, and 0, 4 just stays the same. Reflection over the x-axis, E, 1 and 2. F, negative 3 and 2, negative 3, negative 2. G is negative 5 and 2. Now here is our triangle. I think I did everything correct. E, here's my triangle. Notice that we have 3 points in 3 different coordinates, in 3 different quadrants, I should say. And we want to reflect this over the x-axis. So here's my x-axis. So think of the x-axis on the right as your mirror. So the E has to jump from here to here. The F has to go from this side to this side. And G has to go from up to down. So no matter where you are supposed to cross the x-axis to the other side. So if you're on the up here, you're going to go down. If you're down, you're going to go up. So point A reflected over the x-axis. It's up here, right? Over the x-axis is 1 unit away. So it's going to be 1 unit away on the other side. Just erase this. All right, that's point E. Point F is down here, so it's going to end up on the upside here. F prime. And G prime is going to go from up there to down here. That's it. So, change. Same triangle again. Each point jumped over the x-axis. So it doesn't matter if on what side you are of the x-axis. Okay, so if you're on one side, you're going to end up on the other side. So E, F, G, E prime, F prime, G prime. E prime ends up being 1, -2. G prime, again, remember same numbers, but G prime is going to be -3 and +2 because now it's in coordinate in quadrant 2. And G prime is going to go here, right? So it went from there, from quadrant 2 to quadrant 3. And in quadrant 3, the first number is negative and the second number is negative. There you go. Y-axis reflection, so we're going to go on the y-axis. We're going to jump from left to right or right to left. -3 and 3. F is -5 and 2. -5 and -2, sorry. G is 4 and -1. 4 and -1. And H is 3 and 5. So G, H is 3 and 5. All the way up here. Let's connect. We get a quadrilateral. Okay, it's not trapezoid, just something that's 4 sides. And this quadrilateral is going to be reflected over the y-axis, which means we're going to jump left to right. So E, for example, we're going to go from left to right. H is going to go from right to left. G is going to go from right to left. And E is going to go from left to right. So you've got to make sure you cross this line in the middle from the y-axis. Okay, so E, let's start with E. E is here, is going to land on this side. E is 1, 2, 3, and E is going to be 1, 2, 3. So there is my location of E prime. F is on this side, right, of the y-axis, so it's going to go on this side all the way here. F prime. G is on this side, on the right side, it's going to end up on the left side, so that's G prime. And H is also going to go from right to left, 3 units away, and 3 units away on this side. So that's, am I doing this right? No, got my letters wrong. So let me go back. No, it's right. Ah, G, right. G and then H. H is over here. Went from right to left, and then we'll call this H prime. If you connect the dots, try to connect the dots. Hopefully, use a ruler. There is my quadrilateral. So E prime is going to be also, E prime went from here to here, so it's going to be E prime, new location is positive, positive. F prime, let's find F. F prime is over here, it's going to be positive, negative, 5, -2. G went from quadrant 1 to quadrant 3, so in quadrant 3 the first number is negative and the second number is negative. And H went from here on the right side to the left side from quadrant 1 to quadrant 2, and in quadrant 2 the first number is negative and the second one is positive. Now we're going to do a double reflection. So we're going to take point A, 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 1. Point B, 5 and negative 4. 5 and negative 4 is going to be here. And point C is going to be 1 and negative 5. And here's point C. So we have our triangle that's located in quadrant 3 right now. Quadrant 4, sorry. And reflect it over the x-axis. So we're going to, here's my x-axis. And here's my, so we're going to go from here to here first. And then from here, we're going to go to here. So we're going to flip over the x-axis. And then from the x-axis, we're going to flip that over to the y-axis. Double reflection. Okay. Erase that. So let's start with our first reflection. So let's go from A. Let me change colors. And jump over the x-axis. So A is going to be here. Right, 1 unit away. Just B is going to be 4 units away, so it's going to be over here. And C is going to be on the 1, but all the way up here. And here's my reflection, my first reflection. Right, so I can A prime, B prime, C prime, and it's going to be 4, 1. B is going to be 5, 4. And C is going to be 1, 5. Everybody's positive in quadrant 1. So now we're going to take from quadrant 1, I'm going to flip it over the y-axis, which means we're going to go jump this, right? Vertical line, we're going to go from here, jumping over the y-axis, and we're going to end up here. Just erase that. All right, so point C, the easiest one's right here. And we're going to call it C double prime, 2 apostrophes there to indicate that it's our second reflection. B is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units in the y-axis, so it's going to end up here. B double prime. And C, and A is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. It's going to be here. 8 double prime. That, and like that. So there is our second reflection. So our triangle went from here, fourth quadrant to first quadrant, and first quadrant to second quadrant. So A, B, C, double prime, double prime, double prime. A ends up being negative 4 and 1, right? First number is negative, second number is positive because it's in quadrant 2. B is going to be negative 5 and 4. And C is going to be negative 1 and 5. So it's a double reflection. So we reflect 1 and we take the reflection and we reflect the reflection over here. We don't take the original, and reflect it. Okay? So we take the reflection and we reflect the reflection over for the second time. Okay. So this one is a little bit different. So the first thing it says we're reflecting over x equals 1. So this is a little different. We're not reflecting over the x-axis nor the y-axis. So we're reflecting over the line called x equals 1. We need to find that line. Take a highlighter. So let's find x equals 1. So x equals 1 on the x-axis, which is this one right here. Where would be positive 1? Positive 1 would be right here. We'll make a little line like that. Right? That's where 1 is. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here's 1. So we're going to reflect it over that. So x equals 1. I'm going to extend x equals 1. I'm going to extend that line. This is x equals 1. Let's extend that line. And I'm going to try to do a better job than that. And I'm going to extend that line. A little better. So that's x equals 1. Make an arrow. Make an arrow. All right, so you find x equals 1, put a little mark, and extend that x equals 1 up and down. We're going to reflect. So that's our mirror here. Okay, we're going to reflect over this line. So let's see how we do that. 2 and 1, J. 2 over, 1 over. So this is J. K is 3 and 0, which is right here. And L is 4 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's L. Make that triangle. Now, our mirror is not the y-axis and it's not the x-axis. It's this line here, this highlighted line. But like this is x equals 1. So we're going to reflect it over x equals 1. So we're going to ask ourselves, how far is each of these points away from this x equals 1 or this blue line? So point J reflected over this blue line would land over here. J prime. K is 1, 2 distance, yeah, right, 2 units away from this purple line, blue line, and K should be 1, 2, same thing, and I don't like to do that because it makes it messy. Here's K, K prime. Point L is 1, 2, 3 units away from this blue line, and it should be 1, 2, 3 units away from that blue line as well. I'll call it L prime. Notice you have the same triangle, and all 3 points are equally distanced from x equals 1, or this blue line that we highlighted. The coordinates now are going to be a little bit different, okay, because they're not reflecting over the y-axis or x-axis, you're reflecting over that line. So you can't just write the same numbers, because the numbers are going to be completely different now. J, if you notice, J is where from the origin, 0 and 1, 1 up. K is -1 from the origin, -1 and 0, right? 1 over and no up. And then point L is from the origin to the left, which makes it -2. And how many up? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4 up. So my coordinates here are different than my original one. Okay, prime, prime, prime. Okay, so you gotta be careful when doing this. So let's do one more with another one where we're reflecting over a line. And in this case, our line is y equals -2. So on the y-axis, right, here's 0, 0. On the y-axis, I'm going to find -2. Make a little line like this, extend that line. There's y -2. I'm going to take a highlighter and extend that line. There you go. That's y. That's my line. That's my line. Y equals -2. So we're gonna reflect this over this line here. So let's find our triangle. R equals -3 and 3, -3 and -3 and 3. Here's point R. Point S is -3 and 5, -3, -5 right here. Point T is 1 and -4. 1, 1, -4. Here's my triangle. I'll reflect this triangle over this blue line, or y equals -2. So every point is going to be equally distanced from this blue line. Take a different color. Take point R is 1 unit away, so point R is going to be on this side, point R prime. Point S is 1, 2, 3 units away from this blue line, so it should be 1, 2, 3 units away from that blue line as well. And point T is 2 units away, 1, 2, and it should be 2 units away as well. T prime, sorry. So again, it's the same exact triangle, but just flipped over to the other side. My coordinates are going to be different. So point R is going to be, what's point R? Well, from the origin, you go 1, 2, 3 to the left, and 1 down. 3 to the left is -3. 1 down is -1. Point S from the origin is going to be 5 over, -5, and 1 up, positive. Point T is just going to be 1 over to the right, which is positive, and nor up nor down, which makes it 0. So that's a reflection over lines. Okay. And then, this one, the last 3 on the last page. Let's find Sam's school is located on -5 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 4. Here's Sam's school for S. Now Tim's school is a reflection of Sam's school over Francis Lewis Boulevard. So instead of X and Y axis, we're going to call this Francis Lewis Boulevard and 14th Avenue. So let's find Tim's school. So Tim's school is a reflection of this school, Sam's school, over Francis Lewis. So over Francis Lewis would be going over here, right? We're going to cross Francis Lewis on the other side of Francis Lewis, and the same distance, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to land up here. So here is Tim's school, and his location is -5, but 4. Oh, sorry, -5, -4. So we got to go -5, -4 all the way down. Okay. So sometimes it's easier to understand reflection if you have, like, streets. You can actually understand what you're doing. It's on the other side of the avenue. Same number of blocks on the other side. Sherry lives on 3-4, so let's find this. 3, 4 up. Put an S for Sherry. Her cousin's home is a reflection of her house, so we're going to reflect to her house over 5th Avenue, which is then reflection over 20th Street. So we're going to first reflect Sherry's house over 5th Avenue. So over 5th Avenue, we're going to cross 5th Avenue. On the other side of 5th Avenue is 3 blocks away from 5th Avenue. So it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So here's your first reflection, right? And then her cousin's home is a reflection over 5th Avenue. So you got cross 5th Avenue, and then we got cross 20th Street. Okay, it's in the same distance away. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's cross 20th Avenue. 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks. So there is the cousin's house. Okay, so if you have to give instructions, you would say cross 5th Avenue, walk 3 blocks. And then cross 20th Avenue, walk 4 blocks, the same distance away. So where's the distance? Where's the location of her cousin's house would be 1, 2, 3, 3 negative, right? And 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 4. So that's the location of her cousin's house. Okay, so it's a double reflection again. Okay, and the last one, I think. Jane's workplace is negative 2 and 4. Negative 2 and 4. We're going to go 4 up. Little marker for Jane. Her home is a reflection of her workplace over 12th Street. So let's cross 12th Street first and then reflect it over first house. So I'm going to go over 12th Street, across 12th Street, walk 2 blocks because it's the same distance away. And then we're going to recross 1st Avenue and the same number of blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to cross 1st Avenue and walk 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is her home. The location of Jane's home is 2 over, right? 2 over from the origin and negative 4 down. So that's the location of home. That's it. I think if you look on the entry 2 days before this video, you'll see the homework. You can print it out, or you can just grab some graph paper and mark on it. Okay, I think it's labeled 12.5. You'll see it, okay, on the class website. All right, let's see if I'm actually done. Yes, I am done. Okay, and if you don't see it, I'll actually put this on the class website, okay, which is your homework.